feel like The Sun Will Rise Again that's a zombie track, right?
The
Did I
Zombies
get that
did
right?
record it, but I wrote it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah, so I'm just curious. I mean, the EP is called Less is More, right? But like I'm curious if that was also the intention of re-recording these tracks and stripping them down a bit and playing them acoustic, or if it just happened naturally. Yeah.
No, it happened naturally. These acoustic tracks were recorded first, and
Oh,
I just
okay, got
recorded
it.
them like in an afternoon. They were songs I was working on. I recorded them in an afternoon, and, and then I played. I think the Zombies have actually recorded three of them, but the
Yeah.
Sun Will Rise Again definitely they have recorded. Um, I've also recorded it with a string quartet as well,
Yeah.
uh, but I haven't
And
recorded it in a band setting. I don't know whether I would dare record. I'd like to, but people get a bit upset if you keep re-recording songs.
mm,
And they
yeah.
think that you're trying to, be a cheapskate. But
Mm,
it's not like that. You want the best for the song.
yeah.
You feel you can get more out of a song. Um, but I'm not sure if I dare record it a third time. But no, anyway, I recorded them first, and I was sitting in this room with one of my two managers. I'm managed by a company in New York, which is owned by two people, Cindy D'Souza and Chris Tuttle. And Cindy was here, and I wanted to talk to her about a song. And I said, well, look, I've got a demo of this song. I just put it on. And she said, oh, I really like that. I like it stripped back like that.
Yeah.
And even then, it probably took a year or two before she said, I think we should let people hear these just out of interest. I think people would like to hear this. And
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, I don't know that it leads anywhere. It's just an insight into uh, a song's progression. I mean,
Yeah.
I write a song, I would probably demo it like that, and then perhaps the zombies or myself will take it on from there.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what happened. And I think we've had, it is on all the streaming platforms, and I think it's had getting on towards 100,000 streams. So I mean, it's fantastic for
Yeah.
something that was never intended for anyone else to hear.
Yeah.
But that was good. The Sun Will Shine Again is probably my favorite of those songs. I think all the songs, nearly all the songs I write, have got a trigger. They're not necessarily written line for line about something. Some of them are, and it can get uh, sometimes it can get a little bit difficult because it's literal,
Yeah.
and you have to try and disguise it a bit because you might be giving away too much of your life or too much of someone else's life. Uh, but the Summarize Again, it was definitely triggered by a difficult patch that my daughter was going through. And so it's very much a song of a parent talking to a child
Yeah.
and just saying, the sun will rise again and all the other things, um,
Yeah.
wishing I could have said more to warn you about things like this and just be strong and you'll get through it. That's the kind of thing about it. But so that's probably my favorite song of those five tunes.
I like that. Yeah, that's the first song I listened to, and then I discovered the EP, and I was like, oh,
Right.
yeah, it definitely felt. I played the song my mom, and she just recently learned English because I'm dating English people. I'm bringing back English friends, so she kind of has to talk English, and so I played her the song, and she understood the lyrics, and she was like, oh, that's very sweet. That's like a song I would send you, when you're like on a
You
yeah.
actually hit the nail on the head. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes, because it's true, the sun will rise again. And so yeah, it's a nice metaphor.
It's funny. I got that line from a famous American athlete, and
No?
I can't remember his name, but he was a 400 meters hurdles champion, and he went some incredible amount of races without being beaten. And
Yeah.
the interviewer was saying to him, what happens if you're beaten? This is going to be terrible. And he's just said, yeah, the sun will rise again. It's not a big problem. If I get beaten, I get beaten. And I
Yeah.
always remembered that phrase that he used.
Wow. I did not see that coming from there. That's good to know.
Well, it's the thing with songs.
Yeah.
People, when people say, how do you write songs? You just have to grab hold of anything you can
Yeah.
at the starting point. It could be a chord change. It could be a little bit of melody that comes to you. a title, a storyline, anything, and then you just try to build. This is how I do it anyway, and you try to build on that. And I sometimes think it's a little bit like a crossword. You need to get that bit before you can get the next bit, and then you can build another bit on
Yeah.
it. So it's like a crossword with soul. I think that's
Mm,
what really, because usually I like to write from inside
yeah.
rather than write about trivial things or just write songs for the sake of it. Or this could be a hit. We got to the chorus within 28 seconds. This could be a hit. I'm
Mm,
not really interested in that kind of stuff.
yeah. Yeah. That was also one of my questions that I had was like, how do you write songs? Do you like wake up and you're like, okay, let's write a song? Or do you I can hear it happens naturally. Like you just
Yes,
collect.
I I I might write up and say, okay, I'm going to write a song, but that doesn't necessarily mean I will.
Yeah.
I'll come down into